So once again, good afternoon, students. So in the morning class, we were discussing about dendrites. So I hope you all remembered. Yes or no? If you
Yes,
remembered,
ma'am.
okay. So we were discussing about the dendrites. So now let us discuss about the functions of neurons. So we have discussed about the structure of neurons in the morning class. So now let us discuss about the functions. What is their purpose? I mean, what do they do, these neurons? So this is neurons, huh? One neuron and the other neuron. So they are connected with each other. So this is how the neurons looks like. So what happens here? The neuron, so this is the neuron, they send signal to the another neuron. So how do they send signal? They send signal in the form of action potential. All right, action potential. So action potential, exactly what it is. Action potential, like it is the electrical impulse, right? It is the electrical impulse which is created by, which are produced by the neuron. And what happens here? There is flow of ions. Here, ions flows, okay, from one neuron to the another neuron. That is in and out. In will be this, and out will be this, like this, right? And action potential, you can also find it as two. That is chemical and as well as electrical. All right, electrical as well as chemical. You can find in both ways. And from if I mean, when they connect with each other, no, that is from one neuron to the other neuron. So this thing, no, when they connect it, it is known as synapse or a synapse. Is it clear? This neuron, no, they send, and this neuron they receive signal. They send the signal, and this neuron they receive the signal. Is it clear about this point, everyone? Yes or no? Say fast. Is it clear or not?
Ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I have said the chemical and electrical. So let us discuss about the chemical synapse. So this one, this green color one is known as the chemical synapse. So in this chemical synapse or synapse, what happens? There is action potential, and it affects what? It affects other neurons. Means this neuron, no? So it affects, and there is a gap in between neurons. It is this and this. So this gap is known as synapse. I have already said synapse or synapse, whatever you can say. So there is a large gap in between this neuron and the another neuron. All right. Next is electrical. So this is the electrical. So the electrical synapse, what can we find in the electrical synapse? We can find that they can only excite. Means only excitement is being occurring here. And when does it occur? This electrical synapse or synapse. This occurs when two neurons, okay, this is one neuron and the another neuron, they connect via a gap. This is a gap, no, in between one neuron and the another neuron. So when these two connect each other, in the smaller gap, it is known as electrical synapse. And in this electrical synapse or synapse, you can find that there is positive electrical signal. Is it clear? Means only positive electrical signal can be found here in this electrical synapse. Is it clear? Yes or no? I hope it's clear. Nobody is responding. Okay, types of neurons. So in the types of neurons, what will you find? In the types of neurons, you will find sensory, motor, and interneurons. Okay, so now let us discuss about the sensory neurons. So in the sensory neurons, from the name itself, sensory, you can sense something. So the sensory neurons, they help in what? They help in taste, tasting the things, smell. You can smell the other things. You can hear, you can see, and also you can feel the things which is around you. So these are the sensory neurons. Is it clear? I hope it's clear. No one is responding. So I'm taking it as a yes. Okay, so motor neurons. So in the motor neurons, you will find that they play an important role in movement. See, from the name itself, motor. Motor means movement. And in this motor, what will you find? Voluntary and as well as involuntary movement. So this voluntary, what does it mean? Which you can control or which you can't control. What was it? I have already explained to you in the morning class. Yes? Yes. Yes, say fast. I don't have time.
Hello, ma'am.
Voluntary means what? Sneak. Say.
Which cannot control.
Which you can't control. Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it correct? Others, is it correct? What happened? Only sneeze at present or what? What about others? Gayatri and all. What happened? What happened? Yes.
Ma'am, which can control
Which you can
voluntary.
control. Yes. I've already explained to you in the morning. Please don't forget. Okay, voluntary means which you can control. Involuntary means which you can't control. And these neurons, what do? They allow the brain and as well as the spinal cord. I have already said, na, central nervous system. You will get in the central nervous system, also known as CNS. All right. They help. They allow the brain and the spinal cord to communicate with what? To communicate with your muscles, your organs, your glands. That is all over your body. It functions in that way. Is it clear about the motor neurons? Yes or no?
Ma'am,
Clear, no? Please reply soon, huh? Like when I ask something. So you will get two types of motor neurons. So in the motor neurons, what will you find? Upper and the lower motor neurons. All right. So in the lower motor neurons, what will you find? You will find that they carry signal. I mean, they carry signal from where? From the spinal cord to the what? To the smooth muscle and as well as the skeletal muscle. So what are the smooth muscles? We have already discussed this one also. Tell me. Smooth muscles are what? Shilin, tell me. Shilin, quick, quick. Smooth muscles are what? Costa, what is smooth muscle? Smooth muscle.
Ma'am, smooth muscle, uh, ma'am, inventory muscle.
What muscle?
Ma'am, I means the muscles which are very
Just tell me one
smooth,
example of
ma'am.
smooth muscle. The muscle which are very smooth are smooth muscle. Okay, tell me the muscle. The name of the muscle. Just don't say like that, huh?
Ma'am,
And skeletal muscle is what? The muscle which look like skeleton are skeletal muscle. Hey, just don't speak rubbish, huh? Tell me the example of smooth muscle. Shalin. What happened? All are quiet.
Ma'am, smooth muscle is involuntary muscle.
Okay, tell me some example.
Ma'am, line of stomach.
Stomach. What about skeletal muscle? Dietary.
Muscle. Ma'am, skeletal muscle is the muscle which helps in doing voluntary movement.
Such as?
Ma'am, such as in your, ma'am, these muscles are in your limbs and legs.
Okay, means which you can control. It's not it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't say like that, huh? The muscle which are smooth are smooth. Don't say like that. Okay. So the lower motor neurons, what do? They carry signal. They carry signal from what? From the spinal cord to the what? To the smooth muscle and as well as the skeletal muscle. Is it clear about the first point, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
See, I don't want to spoil my mood just like yesterday, huh? So you please, I'm controlling myself. All right. So you please, I mean, please answer whatever I'm questioning. Okay. Next is upper motor neurons. So in the upper motor neurons, what happens? They carry signal between what? Between your brain. This is your brain, nah? And this is your spinal cord. So they carry signal from your brain. This is your brain and the spinal cord. Is it clear about the upper motor neuron?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is the example. This is the example of the smooth muscle. So what happens here? If we eat something, all right? Suppose if you eat something, what happens? When you eat, for instance, what happens? The lower motor neurons. Let me show you again. So this is the lower motor neurons, no? So what happens to the lower motor neurons? The lower motor neurons, they send signal to your spine. They send signal to your spine, and later on what happens? And again the spinal cord, they will send signal to what? To the smooth muscle. For example, your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines, all this. And what will happen after that? The muscle, it will contract. Contraction will start. And what happens when that contraction will start? The food, no, it used to be allowed so that they can go inside the GI tract, or else you can say the digestive tract. Is it clear, this portion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, next is the interneurons. So in the interneurons, what happens? They are the neural intermediaries found in the brain and the spinal cord. So the interneurons you will find in the brain and as well as the spinal cord. And they are very common. Among all the neurons, they are the common, you can say, in the interneurons. No? And they pass signal to what? They pass signal from the sensory neuron and the interneurons. All right. And they are a bit complicated. These interneurons, they are complicated. And they help to react what? They help to react in the external stimuli. Let me show you one example. So in this, the picture which is shown to you, what is shown to you? A boy is placing his finger in this candle. It's burning, no? So obviously, if you will put a hot object, I mean the fingers in the hot object, so how will you react? How will you react? Will you place your hand? You will continue placing your hand, or else you remove from the hot object, that is the candle. What will you do?
We'll remove the hand.
Yes, you will remove the hand. So who is responsible for that? The interneuron. All right, the interneuron, they help in that. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, next let us discuss about the brain. So the brain is what? It is the center of our thoughts. and it is the interpreter. Interpreter means whatever, like it's coming from the external environment and so on. It also helps in controlling our body movement, and our brain, it constitutes of what, 1/15th, 1/15th of the body weight. And what is the weight of the brain? The weight of the brain is approximately 1300 to 1400 gram. All right, the weight, this is the weight. And there are also some parts in the brain. So what are the parts of the brain? This one you can see here. Number 1 is cerebrum. This is the cerebrum. Number 2 is what? Diencephalon. So under the diencephalon, what will you find? You will find hypothalamus, thalamus. All right, hypothalamus and thalamus. Okay, the third is the brainstem. This is the brainstem. So under the brainstem, what will you find? You will find midbrain, you will find pons, and you will find medulla oblongata. All right. Okay, next, the last is the cerebellum. So this is the cerebellum, which is the fourth. Is it clear about the parts of the brain? Okay. It's okay, Sni, you are traveling, na? No problem. Who are not traveling, you can answer, na? Whoever are at home. Okay, so this is the cerebrum. So the cerebrum, it is the largest part of the brain. From the picture itself also you can just see it. It is the largest part. It is the largest part of the brain. And it has got two hemispheres, that is the right and the left hemispheres. And what is the function of the cerebrum? The function is that they help in like interpreting the touch, like vision, I mean seeing the things, like hearing, then like speaking, reasoning, emotions, learning, and also the movement. So all these things are controlled by the cerebrum. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, we will discuss till here today, huh? In the next class, we will, morning, sorry, tomorrow we will continue with the other parts. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, then thank you, everyone. That's all for today's class.